Hi YouTube. In today's video, I'm going to be upgrading my kitchen tap from a little camping one into something a little bit cooler. There's a couple things I really don't like about it. One, the look. Two, the fact that it has sort of this weird thing here that's, I don't know, I just don't like the way it looks. I know it has a function if you have it set up normally, but the way I have it set up, it doesn't at all. And it kind of does, like, this sort of moves around freely, which can be helpful, but it just sort of does it when you're pumping water. So you might be aiming at the cup at one moment, and then it will kind of move, and you won't be aiming at your cup anymore. That's really annoying. So I actually had the water turned off because it's getting to the point where I've got freezing temperatures at night and sometimes even during the day. There we go. Oh my gosh. The tap that I've really been most envious of is the one that the indie projects have recently put into their van. So I went online to see if I could find sort of a tap that fit. And actually I found the one that they had, but then I saw this one. And this has like a Chinese dragon, which I think is really, really cool. And then the knob just turns a little bit for on and off. Obviously this is a separate piece. It's meant to go sort of like a garden spout on the wall. So I went down and I bought myself some more parts to turn this into a proper tap that can replace the old one. Okay, so I am actually going to use this at the base of this copper pipe, and I will drill some holes in it for screws so it can be put in place. This is going to adapt to fit the hose. It'll just go right on top over here. And this is going to basically link up to here and also keep this in place while connecting to the pipe. Now, the indie projects, they had a bent piece of pipe going straight in here. And I could do that, but I'd have to buy some tools. I'd have to buy a torch and bend it and all that stuff. I don't want to go through all that. So I'm just going to put this little L connector here thing together right into this tap. Now, this thread is probably too long. I think I'm going to have to take that down with a hacksaw. I might have to do that with this piece as well, just to get things sort of fitting together nicely. And here's what it looks like when I've sort of done a dry fitting together. So this obviously will go in here. It really only turns like maybe once or twice, so a lot of this is going to have to come off. Then it goes straight down here. There's that copper bit that goes in, and then this is actually sandwiching these two, making this nice and firm. And then this will have screws going through down to the bottom. And there'll have to be a pretty big hole in the counter to adapt to this, but that was sort of the best way that I could think of to actually make this thing work while having this piece be the bottom part. Okay, here you can see that I've just cut off a little bit of this connector here using a hacksaw, and that'll just mean that the seal between these three pieces here is nice and firm. That's needed in order for this bit to actually hold up the weight of this and the tap, plus whatever's water is flowing through it at the time. Here you can see that I've drilled 4 holes in this bit here that will allow me to attach it to the countertop. So I'm just going to put together these 3 pieces here, and I'm going to run a little bit of silicone around here. This is just so that it doesn't leak, because I've messed up these threads and all that. I could try and solder this, I guess, but the silicone is just a little bit more forgiving for this application. This isn't having heat going through it. It's not under a lot of pressure. This should be perfectly fine for the purposes of making a tap. There we go. I will let that dry. Okay, so I've done the exact same thing with the tap. Just hawked off a little bit of this. This was a lot easier to cut through than the copper connector, and that should go in there. I may or may not use the silicone on this one as well. So this is what I've ended up with. I'm really happy. This is really, really close and tight. I did put a little bit of silicone on my finger and just sort of wipe it on the inside of the female threads here. Don't know how much that'll actually do, but it is there. I did have to tighten this basically with a pipe wrench in order to get it to go all the way, but it looks really, really good. This is the hole that's left from that tap. Obviously, this isn't going to fit in that, so I'm going to have to drill a bigger hole. Now that is much more like it. This, oh, it fits in really nice. Even a little bit of wiggle room for positioning. That is super cool. And yeah, you can see where the other hole was actually, and it was actually on an angle. Interesting. So yeah, so that can go right in there. Now I get to decide how high I want my tap to be. Okay, so that's where that goes. So 5. That is too high, I think. I think it's up near this. It's just a little bit too high for functionality. I think, yeah, putting it level with this and the cutting board makes it look pretty good. What about lower? Lower looks good too. That might actually be a little bit better. Ugh. How about that low? Yeah, maybe not quite that low, but yeah, lower I think is better. I mean, higher, you definitely get more function out of it. All right, one thing I want to test here is just with the cutting board in place. Let's say we wanted to have a cup be able to be put under there. Well, yeah, that wouldn't be a problem at either height. Up here is pretty darn nice at that angle. The good thing about this is that I can always shorten it, but I can't make it longer, so I'm going to cut it to this height. Let me know what you guys prefer. If you guys prefer the tap to be this high or down about here. So once more with the sink showing, down about here or up here. Here or here. I feel a lot like an optometrist right now. Well, this is coming along great, not just because I've removed this word from the pipe, and therefore the faucet, but also because this is looking pretty good. Okay, I got a good amount of silicone on here and inside the female end, and because this is just a butt connector, I think this is necessary. Okay, so it's fully connected on this side, and I'm going to let that cure before I do anything else. Okay, so I've drilled 2 little pilot holes here. The other 2 might miss, or they might go in, we'll see. This hose here is what goes down into the water pump, and it's actually full of frozen water. Joys of living in Canada right now. But I just wanted to make sure that this fits. Okay, so I've got that attached. I'm pretty sure that that's a more or less watertight seal. And now I should just be able to dunk that in like so. So I've just taken 4 of these screws, same screws I use everywhere else, and I've spray painted them gold. Hopefully that'll help blend in with the brass a little bit. There it is, fully installed. Really, these 2 screws are the only ones with any grip, but that really doesn't matter because all they have to do is stop it from moving forwards and backwards. Obviously, up and down isn't a problem. Did I mention how cold it is in here? Working with water and cold metal, my hands are just freezing. It's actually 1 degree in here right now, which means that all of the water should be in a liquid state by this point. It's been 1 degree for a while. So I'm going to go up here, and we're just going to see if this makes a giant mess. Yay! So that's a bunch of wood chips and sawdust and stuff that must have gone down found its way into that tube when I drilled the hole for this. I should probably clean that up. So at this point, I know that this made a giant mess. That means the pump is working, and this part here has dried. So I'm just going to do a dry fit like that. I think this side is open. If this is closed, this is going to go really badly, so it better be open. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Since I'm already making a giant mess, I'm going to show you what happens if this is closed. I'm going to really briefly show you what went wrong. That's what happens if you try and push the pump while it's actually closed. The hose comes off. I've zoomed in right here at the base because this is just 2 pieces of copper fitting snugly together. I didn't put any silicone in here. So I'm going to step on the pump and we're going to see if this leaks. Because if it's like this, I might just leave it like that. Alright, so you guys could clearly see that there was water coming up there. I definitely need to silicone this joint. Okay, so this is now fitted in with the silicone, which has been wiped off. I'm now going to have to let this completely cure before I do anything else. And well, just because I can tend to be a bit of an idiot, I don't want to step on the pump and ruin this, so I've pulled out the fuse. Okay, so full cure for the silicone is 24 hours, but it's water resistant at 30. It's been a couple hours, So I am now going to test this out. I think that was good. I didn't see any water leaking from any of the joints. Yeah, that's a good seal. I'm editing this video right now, and there's something that I forgot to mention. This tap vastly improved the quality of the stream of water. And what I mean by that is that the little tap would give you a little bit of water, then all of a sudden it would send a whole bunch of it all at once, right as the pump really hit its stride, once all the air got out of the tube. And no matter what you were filling, that water would go everywhere. Picture when you have a spoon under a tap, you're trying to wash a spoon, and it just hits a spoon and water goes everywhere. Everyone hates that. That happened every single time I used the tap before. And the reason why I don't think it's doing it now is because where the tube meets the bottom of this tap, it gets really small. So it has to force the water through there, and then when it comes out, the copper tube is a lot bigger. And so the air has enough time to go out, and it basically acts like an accumulator tank. And basically it doesn't do that stuttering effect because the air has somewhere, a way to get out, and by the time the water actually gets to the top of the tap, it's just smooth water throughout the system. Something worth noting, this isn't just an aesthetic change. Incidentally, quite accidentally in fact, I actually improved the function. There's one thing about this tap that's worth mentioning, and that's that this part here actually comes off. So there's another question for you guys. Do you like it like this? You can see the threads, it's a little bit more open. Or with this back in place? Right now, I'm thinking that I like it with this on, so that's how I'll leave it. And again, let me know if you like the height of this tap. Now that it's installed, I'm really happy with this. So, I mean, I think a lot of you guys would have to say, oh no, it needs to be quite a bit shorter for me to change it. This is really good looking. I really, really like this look. I'm very happy with this. So that is my tap upgraded. It wasn't an essential change, but boy does it look good. I think it really fits in with the theme that I have going on in my kitchen. It fits in well with the copper penny backsplash and the copper on the underside of the stove, the sink, everything. And the dragon is just a cool touch, I think. So let me know what you guys think about this. This is the sort of thing that I'll probably be doing more of. Small upgrades, things that work now, but can work better if I make some changes or don't look the way I want them to end up looking in the future or anything like that. That's really where I'm at, because my home is really finished. I didn't really make a big deal about it in the actual video from last week. That was where I upgraded the counter going over the stove, because that video was already getting kind of long. But this is done. My van's done, at least functionally. That doesn't mean that I don't still have things that I want to change, like I said. But from now on, it's just going to be, small home improvements rather than actually creating the home itself. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, folks.